All right, my mom's coming back in a second. She's outside watering some plants. Today, we went and saw On Top of the World. We linked up with our expert up there. He kind of showed us around. It's actually really fun. We get to, shoot these communities and kind of experience them from a new perspective. Oh.
What the?
Are you ready?
Starting without me? He started without me.
Wow, you were watering plants.
He's like a chop chop mom. I want you to know these microphones make me look fat. Anyway.
You better start moving and feel the music.
These guys got a little crazy
this
with my notes.
This is pretty funny. Actually, hilarious how you take notes.
Okay, so literally I take the notes like this because it comes like I'm hearing it. And then I put it in a nice little...
Later, you clean it up.
I cleaned it up.
It looks like something someone that's being overtaken by ghosts would write on the walls in a scary movie. What is that called?
A poltergeist?
No, when you're...
Possessed?
Possessed.
Oh.
All right, so let's get organized here a little bit. You ready?
Yes.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you guys the community. We got something kind of cool where we actually tried something a little different. We went into 4 homes, resale homes that are currently listed there. It'll give you guys kind of an idea of some of the different real estate available there. The market's crazy right now. Depending on when you're watching this, I'm sure they won't be there for long. But regardless, it'll, as time goes on, it'll give you an idea of what the real estate there is like.
Yes, and those 4 things, there's villas, which are part of the attached homes, and they have some duplexes, some quads, and then even more. Some of them, they started building in 1983. They're still building now. We did not visit with one of the new build agents, but we have a big brochure so we can, set you up with a new build if that's the direction you're going. But the 4 resales were villas and a couple of single family homes ranging from $129,000 to $250,000.
Super affordable.
Super affordable. This was a confusing part, so you guys take note of this. There's a section of On Top of the World where you're on a 100-year lease. And that always confused me. But basically what it ends up being is the developer owns the land, you're leasing it for 100 years, which means, and the cute way they put it was the paint out, the developer takes care of. So they even paint your house. Everything out on the land, they're liable for, they have to fix, they take care of.
The tree falls over, they're in charge of it.
Yes, so you just maintain your own inside your home. So
basically, yeah. And then roofs, the way he was explaining roofs too, is they'll do them in bulk. So you get the benefit of economy of scale, and they'll do a whole section at a time, and then they basically say, here's what it costs, but since they're doing so many, they get these low bids from roofers.
Right. So
you're in charge of your own roof, but everything else?
Right, and your maintenance fees then were right around $350,000. $350 a month.
Could you imagine?
Anyway, it was a long day. We had fun. $350 a month approximately, and that was all your maintenance outside. And that was in that one area of On Top of the World. So you just need an agent that knows what they're doing so they can tell you which part is that and which part isn't. So the newer area was called Candler Hills, and that's where the model row was, right? Mm-hmm. And but they do not include all of that in their HOAs.
You're in charge of your own grass. You're in charge of.
Yes.
It's just set up different, but
yes.
It's all within the same community. It's all within the same gates.
Fee simple ownership of the land, so you actually own the land as well as your home.
It's kind of cool to have, depending on what you're looking for, both options in the same community.
It's just different, and it's not. Knowledge is power. I might just have to start saying that a little bit more often.
We're gonna have to get shirts that say "Knowledge is power" and there's a hat for every head.
But literally, you have to just know and go with somebody that knows. It was a beautiful community. These guys had a lot of fun because they have some unique amenities, like
we were geeking out over the. They have a drone course. They have an RC racetrack, and an RC plane field with a paved runway. It was
Yeah. So great
Super
place for
unique.
boys and their toys, that's for sure, right? Although we saw some gals up there racing. There was a couple of gals up
Yeah.
there racing.
So it's kind of cool. We were talking to a guy, Robert. Shout out to Robert. He was there. He was getting ready for a race that they were gonna have, but we were talking to him, and he actually lived in the Villages and left specifically because of that racetrack. So it's one of his big hobbies. And I guess in the Villages, they have a course that they set up on pavement, but it's not an actual, or they set it up in a parking lot, but it's not an actual dedicated course, and they don't have the operators stand, which elevates you from the course so you can see what you're doing.
Oh my gosh, it was so cool.
It was pretty cool.
Well, they have archery as well, right? Didn't you meet up with somebody on the archery course?
Did archery. Well, so let's get a little organized, succinct here, and let's break down how many clubhouses, golf course. Let's start to talk about some amenities.
Okay, let's talk about the amenities. Well,
The first thing we saw was the main recreation center, which had a separate pro shop for golf. It had tennis courts,
had a little
pool,
pub restaurant,
a restaurant,
racquetball courts.
Indoor
First place I've
racquetball
seen
course.
was the indoor racquetball, and a totally separate building that they called the Hobby Center, and they had a woodworking shop, library, and some fitness rooms, and then card rooms, things like that.
Yep. And then down the way they had Veterans Park, which was completely outdoors. They had archery, which was super cool. Another dog park. They have a ton of dog parks throughout the community. A ton of gardens. We saw that a lot.
Yep, so then if you have an interest in growing tomatoes or zucchini or whatever you do, you just have these little plots that you can rent. Do they rent?
No, they're
them?
for
It's
free.
part of it. It's
They
part
were
of
for
it.
free, so it's basically
line
first
up
come,
for 'em.
first serve.
That's cool.
We chatted with the resident, and he was saying there's spots available. Like, it didn't seem like it would have been hard to get one if you wanted.
Right.
What else did they have? Then they had horseshoe pits, some other stuff at the
Lots
Veterans
of
Park.
pickleball, lots of tennis. So you had all of that.
Yeah.
And
There was a ton of green space.
Yes.
Like, they had left a lot of the community just undeveloped, and it was beautiful.
we had actually talked about the fact that it felt more Georgia than Florida because it actually can get to below freezing, at freezing there. They're about 10 degrees, I guess, colder than the center of the state, which is probably 10 degrees colder than the southern part of the state. So it's just a little bit of a different weather. They had those indoor pools. It had an indoor pool with retractable roof, and then you could open up all the doors.
And that was at the Arbor, so that's the second main clubhouse, right?
Yes, that was.
And
Yep.
you got to go inside there. What was inside? So the indoor pool.
It had a fitness center, and the cool thing is their indoor pool was sort of a lap pool, and you could open it up, retractable roof and everything. But when you went out, there was a 4-foot pool that was you could walk and exercise and do your aerobics there without being too deep. So, and I think he said there's a couple of pools there like that, which was
I think
super
there's
cool.
I think there's 8 pools.
Total.
8 pools total. Yeah.
We might be a little bit skewed, but this is why you get a great agent that lives up there and loves it.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. So then Candler Hills is the newer section, and they had a building called The Lodge.
Really beautiful
It was a
building.
beautiful new building. Now, interestingly, you buy in on top of the world on the leased property, you can use all of your amenities, but you can't go to Candler Lodge. However, they can use everywhere, which means you're also buying your amenity center. The HOA owns that amenity center, so they've paid for it. So that's why that's separate than using the other amenities. The other amenities, the developer paid for it, right? And it's part of the whole program, so that's why, if that makes sense.
And then we touched on the golf courses. So there are 3 championship golf courses. 2 of them are private, 1 of them semi-private. Yeah. So if you're into golf, this is probably one of the nicer communities you can get into.
It's got.
They all have great golf courses, but it was gorgeous. And you have 3 options.
Well, I think, to be honest, and I know we're going to do Ocala versus the Villages at some point, one of the residents said they don't generally have to wait for tee times. right? So the Villages has gotten big. I guess there's a lot of waiting for tee times. We'll get some more information on that when it comes to the Villages, but here it has plenty of space for that tee time.
Another cool little feature they had was a mini golf course.
Yes, that was right at that main center that had the indoor racquetball, and then they were playing pickleball. It was super active today too.
Yeah. So it was cool when we were checking out the archery section too. We got chatting with a resident named Mike. Thank you, Mike, for having us or letting us take some shots of you shooting the bow and arrow. But he hadn't picked up a bow in 50 years. Last time he did was in Boy Scouts. And then he was out there. He was a snowbird, and he started doing competitions, and that's why he really liked On Top of the World, was the archery center.
Absolutely perfect for people to pick up stuff that they loved when they were younger that they didn't even realize that they could now get back into. That's super cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Talking to him, you know, he really seemed like he
happier than a clam.
Well, it was like he seemed like he was like a little kid about it almost. Like he was just like, you could tell he loved it.
Oh,
and he was so excited just to even chat with us about it. Like it was very cool.
That's very cool. So another great reason to just hook up with somebody that knows the community so well and is such a cheerleader for it that you learn the cool stuff.
They also had an RV and boat storage lot. I think you rent the spots.
Yes.
So if you have that available, but it's not included in your HOA.
That's right.
Which is honestly kind of nice too though, because then it doesn't get rolled into everybody's fees.
Right. They had covered spots too, which is important to some folks that have the RVs.
Cool. The other cool thing right outside the gate, so this is public, but it's part of On Top of the World, is Circle Square Commons. So they had some different tents set up and they had a few people selling stuff today, but they hold all sorts of different events there. And again, that's where they're gonna have live music, things like that. They've got a few little shops around there. And then they also have the Circle Squares Cultural Center. Went inside, they had horse statues up that different artists had painted these horses. Is pretty cool. They also had an area where they had a stage and they hold events and theater, entertainment, concerts, things like that.
Yep, and the cool thing is you can get there by your golf cart. Yes? That's the only, that area, and then the Publix at the other center where we drove in, you can get to by golf cart.
So when we were discussing it with our expert agent, basically what he said was On Top of the World own those roads, so then they kind of made the rules.
Yes.
And then you saw on the other side when we were leaving a sign that said golf carts
not allowed.
No longer past this point or whatever it said. So.
Yes, but that was super cool, and that's a benefit to a lot of our folks that are looking for
it's not
golf cart fun.
Yeah, you can't. It's not that frequent. There's a few communities here and there where they've got these shopping centers right outside that you can drive your golf cart to, but it's not that common.
Not prevalent yet. So as far as some community stats, there is going to be 10,000 homes there at build out, and I think the idea between the dates for that would be the year 2030. Right now there's about 5,500 homes, so you still have plenty of time to sort of get in there and build a new home. Regarding the resales, they started in 1983 as they were developing, and then you've got your villas, which there's some duplexes and then some fourplexes and then some others attached, as well as single family home, all block and stucco.
Yeah.
And right now, as far as the MLS goes, there's 23 homes for sale.
Which is crazy low.
Crazy low, and that's the biggest problem everybody has at this time frame for resales is low inventory. They range, which is a cool thing for a lot of our customer base as far as affordability, from 115,000, 1,100-ish square feet, to about $400,000. So there's a good sort of range. And again, J. Michael mentioned that we actually did some footage of some of those resales, so you can kind of see.
Let's get into it. Let's break down those four real quick.
Those four houses? Okay, let's do that.
So you guys have to let us know if you like this. We can kind of do this in the future when we go to these communities, is find some stuff for resale and just give you an idea of what's for sale. Again, depending on when you watch this, I'm sure these houses are going to be gone.
Yes.
So,
and keep in mind, we choose vacant ones, so we're not interrupting homeowners that are there. But this gives you a good idea of what you've got out there.
What should we do? Should we start from high to low or what? Low to high? Let's start from low to high.
Low to high.
Let's go from the least expensive to the most expensive. I'm going to let you do this and I'm going to sit back and relax.
You should. So what we're going to do is just give you the year built, the price, and then the square footage. And then from that point, you guys just enjoy the videos as you watch them. So we saw 5 houses, and I'm going to start low to high. The first house that was $126,900 was built in 1995 with 1,215 square feet. The second one we saw was $157,900. This was a villa as well. 1,710 square feet, built in 1983. The next one was $161,900. This was a villa as well, and it had been redone inside. 1,644 square feet, built in 1986. Next, $174,900. This was a single-family home, 1,462 square feet, built in 2005. And our most expensive home that we saw today was $249,900. It was 1,772 square feet, built in 2015.
It was a really beautiful lot, and it's been on the market for a little bit. So why do you think that was? Do you think it's competing with the newer build pricing, or?
To be honest, we were all sort of going, wow, this is gorgeous. It's on a great lot, nice private. It was a beautiful home. The only thing that sometimes will happen is when a builder has lots for sale and some incentives going on to build your own house new, the resale may, feel like it's not, I don't know, maybe they prefer a new build. However, I do have people that want move-in ready. They got the blinds, everything's ready, it's move-in ready, and bam, you're in. So I think it's just worth looking at and then seeing what the differences are. That's again why a great agent is a good thing to have.
Again, let us know if you guys like that little section, that little bit in the video. We can start to do that where we just check out some of the homes that are available. It gives you guys an idea of what sort of resale.
It's your channel too, and we had one of our guys, Dan, ask us that they wanted to see houses, so we're trying it on.
Thanks for the suggestion, Dan. Okay, so let's touch on location. Ocala is pretty rural. It's north of Orlando. What it really offers is a lot of outdoor recreation. So you're up kind of closer to Gainesville. There's a ton of springs. So if you're into kayaking, there's a ton of opportunities for that. I'm actually wearing Santos Bike Shop, which is a bike shop that does bike rentals in Ocala, and they are on the Santos Bike Trail, which is a mountain biking trail. It's actually really cool. They have really easy trails that go all over the place, and then it's an old limestone quarry. So they turn that into a bike trail. It's actually really cool. And then they have the Ocala National Forest right there. I mean, again, it's rural. You're about an hour and a half from Orlando, but you have a ton of outdoor recreation stuff. And then how far away from the villages are you? So if you want to use all the villages' town squares.
Oh, probably not that bad. What do you think, 30, 45 minutes?
30 minutes, yeah. So you're about an hour and a half from Daytona. You're about an hour 45 to 2 hours away from Clearwater. I'm almost similar to what you're here in Central Florida.
That's because of our toll roads and stuff that people might complain about, but since we don't have a personal income tax for the state, then we make our money by our toll roads. But you hop on a toll road and you're anywhere. I think it was only about 6 hours down to the Keys.
Yep.
So it's easy to get anywhere you want to go.
Yep. All right, guys. Much appreciated. Much obliged. That doesn't make any sense.
No. Thank you so much again for watching, and we're having a lot of fun doing this. Reach out.
Go to the website. Check out the website. We'll get you connected with expert agents. Again, we're going up there. Nikki doesn't work out of, my mom doesn't work out of Ocala, but we have a friggin' awesome team up there. Like, it was so fun to go check that community out with them. So visit the website. It's cool, you get to see people's profiles. There's videos of them, so you get to kind of know them before you work with them and make sure it's a fit for you in the first place. And
There's more to explore.
there's always more to
Always
explore.
more to explore.
All right, cool. Thank you guys.